So this is where we're live right now. Mute the TV. Mute the TV. Oh no ita hala me kale hua he halele hua no yanaka no e o ka uno ia no ine ane io ka hiki mai hiki mai no ko hiki puno me ke aloha. Aloha e, aloha e, aloha e. Aloha mai kākou. Traditionally, there's a response. Aloha mai kākou. How good it is to gather as a loving community of family and friends to offer support, remembrances with each other as we celebrate the life of Hokuala, Barry Johnson. We know very well how Hoku fully appreciated her deep roots here in Hawaii. So this olalono'iau, this Hawaiian proverb, is appropriate as we begin this service. Mehelau no ke ko'olau ke aloha, which means love is like the fingertips of the ko'olau breeze, gentle, invisible, but present nevertheless. We all know that a parent's greatest fear is to witness the burial of their child. It is usually the task of youth to bury their elders. And as wrong as this all seems on so many levels, we know that sometimes life doesn't make sense. But our faith helps us know that there are greater forces at work than our sensible minds can understand. So here we are in grief, acknowledging our loss, but we know God cares. We also come with grateful hearts, knowing that Hoku's life was a blessing to us, and we rejoice in that knowledge. Let us remember that this is a time of thanksgiving and a celebration of the life Hoku shared with us. And it's also a celebration of the beginning of her new life in the Spirit. E pule kako. Let us pray. E ko makua I loko kalani e ho'ano ia e kou I noa. Our loving, ever-present God, you are sacred. You are our comfort and our strength. You are the source of our lives, and now we gather in praise and celebration of Hoku's life, for which we are so very grateful. We also gather in the pain and sorrow of sudden separation. We ask that you comfort us in our grief, give us strength in our weakness, especially surround Hoku's family with your grace and peace. Be with Leisha, Eva, Kai, Charlene, Carrie, Keone, and their ohana, and with the rest of us whose friendship and love made us part of Hoku's ohana too. Speak to our hearts in this time of remembrance that we may recall Hoku's positive presence, which could brighten a room with her huge smile and energetic kolohe way of being. May your presence fill us with joy and comfort in the midst of sorrow. Amen.
This way. Okay, now I got the light. Thank you. I'm Terry Johnson. I'm Hoku's dad. And I wanted to share a few of my memories of her growing up. When I think of Hoku as a child, I remember her as always a happy child, a hard-headed kid, but always humble. As a 3-year-old, she used to love to come downtown and look at the water features and the fountains. She just delighted in that. And when her mom was working on lesson plans on the weekend, I'd load Hoku in the car. We'd come down and we'd find a water fountain, and she would just delight. And she'd play in it, and she'd laugh, and she'd dance around. And that was one of the great early memories that I have, when she was about a 3 or 4-year-old. She was always up for going fishing down at Haleiwa Harbor. We'd go down there with a cane pole and some bread bait and see what we could catch. And we'd catch little things, and she'd just delight in that. And she'd laugh, and she'd come back and show her mom and her grandmother and anybody that wanted to see her the fish that she'd caught that day. She grew up pretty much on the beach at her grandparents' home in Kauai. I think many of you are familiar with that. We went to the Big Island and lived for 4 years. A job transferred me over there. And when we got back, she re-entered Punahou in the 8th grade. And in the next few years, she was very lucky to find some excellent mentors and great friends. Her primary mentor was Marion Lyman Mercereau, who just spoke. And Marion picked her up in the 8th grade, got her involved in paddling and Hui Nalu, where she spent a good bit of her time. Other influences that were positive were the coaches she worked with at Punahou and Hui Nalu, Renee and Becky, and so many more. Another great influence in her life was the Thompson family. Tia was one of her besties and two-man crew partner. Bruce and Lita kept her out of trouble and encouraged her always. Nainoa, who she would later say, he doesn't want me to be the best paddler. He doesn't want me to be the best sailor. He doesn't want me to be the best surfer. He wants me to be a water person. And she would always quote him on that. And Pinky, of course, influenced her to attend his alma mater, Colby College. And her bestie all the way through school was Elia Herman. And for many years, and her most trusted friend, I would say. When she was at Colby, she made the freshman crew, even though she'd never sat backwards in a boat before. She was on the varsity crew for 2 years, and she told me about crewing at the head of the Charles, and she was so excited. When she was a junior, they were coming up to the Harvard Bridge, and I don't know if you know, but at the head of the Charles River in Boston, there are 1 million people standing on the shore watching this. It's a huge event, literally 1 million. I mean, you can't imagine. But as they got up to the Harvard Bridge, there was a huge hue and cry that went up, and she felt so honored because this was her first time paddling in a competitive situation at the head of the Charles. And then she looked around and she realized that at the same time she was going under the Harvard Bridge going this way, the USA men's Olympic team was going by the other way. And the cheers were not really for them, not for Colby. On school breaks, she made trips to visit me in Europe and Saudi Arabia. And I remember when she arrived in London, I picked her up at Heathrow, and I said, what are your goals while you're here? I mean, most historic town, city in Europe, but what would you like to do? And she said, well, there's really only 2 things I want to do. She said, one is I want to get a perfect pour. And some of you may be familiar with that, but bartenders are trained to pour a pint of Guinness in 2 phases. In the second phase, those who are well trained move the glass around and leave a clover shape in the foam on the top of the Guinness. And that was one of her great things that she wanted to do while she was in Europe, was to get a perfect pour. Her other goal was to see Rent in the West End. And we were able to get some matinee tickets a few days later, and the experience was profound for both of us, I would say. At the beginning of Act 2, the crew asks, how do you measure a year in daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, in laughter and strife, in 525,600 minutes? And then they ask, how do you measure the life of a woman or a man? In the truths that she learned, or the times that he cried, or the bridges that he burned, or the way that she died? Oh, you've got to remember the love. You know that love is the gift from above. Share love, give love, spread love. Measure your life in love.
One small step back, one small step back. There you go.
Aloha, I'm Charlene, Hoku's mom. I love children, professionally and personally. So losing Hoku was very difficult for me. I never dreamed that I would be put in this situation. But because of you and other people who have supported me, said prayers, and helped me with good memories of her, I'm going to survive and cherish every moment that I have with my 2 grandchildren and my wonderful daughter-in-law. I'm very fortunate to be here today, only because of friends and family who have stood by me. Hoku was special, and I want to thank her for giving me her love, her understanding, her enthusiasm, and her compassion, her work ethic, and her love of the Hawaiian culture. She also brought into my life many wonderful people like Marian, Renee, Becky, Leisha, Tony, Keone was part of it, and Malia, and all the aunties and uncles. We did many things together with so many families, like make gingerbread houses. And of course, she was so enthusiastic and happy to do that. We went swimming. We went paddling. She went paddling. And she was a really good soccer goalie. I saw her fight through tears and fear to become one of the best goalies in Kona. I would look in the rearview mirror of the car and see her wipe the tears away and talk to herself, trying to encourage herself. She did the same with swimming. In second grade, she was a junior lifeguard in Mililani. And on her way to the pool, she would wipe her tears again and say, I can do this. I'm blessed to have had her in my life. Thank you, Hoku, for leaving me with a wonderful family, 2 children, and a wonderful daughter-in-law. And I want to thank everyone else in my life for being by my side at this time. Thank you.
Noe noe, noe noe mai ka ike aloha I ka hau anu o Hokuala e kua hiwina ni a ka makani ha mai ka hilau hina hina la Noe noe, noe noe mai ka ike aloha I ka hau anu o Hokuala e kua hiwina ni a ka makani ha mai ka hilau hina hina la Uhu, uhu a paai ka lima mo ki hana popo hei kana hele a he mea na e ke ala ka lau mai leo ki lo hana la Na manu ka nene e ka lau hau Aloha aku makalele ka hale pupu ka niwao E o ana oe a lima loa I na kili oe I na palina na I malama I ke ala Popo I ka liko laua Hawa, hawa I na pali o makana I ka vai au au kana loa e o He ka mohi kukahi, ka la kawa hei no ala O ka mahu, malama Ki E huli wahi ma ke iau Mapopo ua I ke hoki Ka home I loko kupu vai Ua hoki mai au ke ike nei au Aole au e au ana ho Ke maopopo e Hawaii au Ke maopopo e Hawaii au Ke maopopo e Hawaii au Ke maopopo e Hawaii au
Aloha, my name is Aaliyah Herman. A lot of people knew Hoku from paddling or from working with her at NOAA or from surfing or from sailing, but I just knew her as my beloved friend. I kept trying to think of one story to tell, but I just have memory after memory swirling together, and I don't know how to talk about her without talking about us. Us trying endlessly to teach Madame Clay, our 8th grade homeroom teacher and also a French teacher, how to pronounce my name. Us poring over the what's hot, what's not section in our guide to colleges as we tried to decide where to go to school. Leaving campus every B-day, senior year of high school, for 3 hours to go to her house in Manoa to make gigantic vegetarian burritos. Laying on the floor of her house our sophomore year of high school, watching the Aerosmith Crazy video on MTV over and over. Hoku driving Keawe and me through Waikiki and around Diamond Head late into the night as we talked about everything from Hawaiian homelands to who was cute. Jumping into the ocean every New Year's Eve with all our clothes on at her grandma Puni's house on the North Shore, and then washing off in the outdoor shower where we drank champagne straight out of the bottle while spurting out confessions and laughing endlessly, and then eating fried mochi the next morning. Serving as division heads together for Punahou Carnival, which most importantly meant we got to sit in big boardroom chairs for the first time and spin them in circles. Planning our joint high school graduation party together with our moms. Being mugged in Providence, Rhode Island together when she came to visit me during college. When she first told me the Northwestern Hawaiian Island Coral Reef Ecosystem Reserve was now going to be a monument, and how annoying it was that they would need all new logo wear. And much later, her bragging, of course, about everything she had done to build the permitting system at Papahanaumokuakea. Her evading my calls when she came to DC on a work trip, only to discover after a few days that it was because she had started a romance with a woman she worked with. Her name was Leisha. And then us all going to dinner that week at this great Mexican restaurant there so she could introduce me. Her making fun of me and telling me my clothes were too mainland when I first moved home in 2011. Our weekly walks around Diamond Head or Kahala or Ala Moana or Ainahaina Valley or the Makiki Loop Trail, where we would talk incessantly about everything. The exact spot where I told her I was going to have my son, and exactly where we were when she told me she was pregnant with her daughter. I am so sad and so angry and so heartbroken. A few weeks ago, I was reading through our old text messages, and for a moment it felt like we were talking again. Hoku was very often the highlight of my week, and I remember feeling lucky every time she showed up. Hoku was where I was supposed to send my son when he's a teenager and doesn't listen to me. Hoku was who I was supposed to sit next to on a rocking chair on Puni's porch when we were old. Hivanka, your mama itch was complicated. She was talented, she was smart, she was kooky, and she was so much fun. I could talk to her about anything, and sometimes she pushed me away. And this was a part of her I never understood, but now I know it was because she was dealing with things that were too hard for her to carry. She told me she will always be here with me, and I know that's true. She will always be a part of me, and I will carry her forward. All the sorrow, and more importantly, all the joy. I found this book recently that I wanted to give to Hiva and Kai, and I just wanted to read one page from it. This is the book. When the ocean waves are black, when we feel like turning back, Hoku shines its little light, guiding us all through the night. Hoku, I will love you always and forever.
She's got a way about her. I don't know what it is, but I know that I can't live without her. She's got a way of pleasing. I don't know why it is, but there doesn't have to be a reason anyway. She's got a smile that heals me. I don't know why it is, but I have to laugh when she reveals me. She's got a way of talking. Don't know why it is, but it lifts me up when we are walking anywhere. She comes to me when I'm feeling down, inspires me. Without a sound, she touches me, and I get turned around. She's got a way of showing how I make her feel, and I find the strength to keep on going. She's got a light around her. Oh, everywhere she goes, a million dreams of love surround her everywhere. She comes to me when I'm feeling down, inspires me. Without a sound, she touches me. I get turned around. She's got a smile that heals me. I don't know why it is, but I have to laugh when she reveals me. She's got a way about her. I don't know what it is, but I know that I can't live without her anyway.
Well, I know you know better everything I say. Meet me in the country for a day. We'll be happy and we'll
Hi, everybody. Hope I can get through this. So if anybody looked at the programs, you noticed the little labels next to our names in the program. And mine said Little Sis. That's what she was. We both had brothers. She had a younger brother. I had an older brother, so it was kind of perfect. We figured if we didn't have our brothers, we would have each other, and we would kind of just slot in as sisters. But much like siblings, I think, we were either together a lot or we were just not together at all. That was kind of our relationship. But no matter what, and no matter how much time passed, it was as if no time passed at all. So I called her Tutu, which some of you may have recognized. She called me Titi. I don't remember why. It's probably just because that's what our names sort of flowed as. We met at Hui Nalu. She was one of Marion's girls. She came with a whole clan of Punahou girls to Hui Nalu, and I was the lone Kamehameha paddler who would paddle against them every ILH season and paddle with them every summer. We had a lot of fun. We grew up together paddling, surfing, diving, swimming, just kind of being those ocean people that Uncle Terry was talking about. We would go to regattas on Sundays, followed by endless shenanigans, which were always super fun. And of course, we would always have the annual Hui Nalu Luau at my grandparents' house, where Hoku would always convince Renee to somehow get us our own little cooler of special cocktails. And then Renee would give it to us and tell us that we had to hide it in the bushes so our parents didn't know. But that lasted for years. And I think all our parents knew, which was fine. We did a lot together. We ended up working together, which was awesome and something I cherish. And honestly, I attribute a lot of my career accomplishments to her. She was always an ear or a nudge, sometimes a swift kick in the butt, to just keep going when things got hard or stay positive when I started getting negative. And no matter how busy she was or how stressed out she was, she would let me park myself in whatever office she was sitting in at the time and bend her ear for as long as I needed to get through whatever it was. It was awesome. She was a confident. She was a fellow Hawaiian. She's just a special person. Like everybody said, you know, hardworking, great work ethic. So all those good things that you think about in people, that was pretty much Hoku. One thing I loved about her was that she paid such good attention to everything. And she was really good at storytelling. And because she was so interested in stuff, she would go hear something, she'd research it, and then she'd come back and she'd tell me all about it, which made my life easy because I would just be able to learn it all from Hoku, which I guess thinking back is probably not the best way to learn things, but it really was. She was so thorough and so good at it. She was incredibly proud of her Portuguese heritage. She talked about it all the time, especially with fellow Portuguese like my dad and myself, but my dad was more of a Portuguese Hawaiian than I was. So those two were two peas in a pod. They'd tell stories, they'd talk forever and ever and ever. And after paddling practices, she'd always come to our house, or often she'd come to our house and have dinner or just hang out. And they would talk a lot. And so last night when I was trying to figure out what to say, I went to my parents' house and I asked them what they thought. And we're talking, and my dad said, "Hey, do you know Hoku's Portuguese name?" And I was like, "No, do you?" And he said, "Yeah, it's Binvinda." And I said, "I'm pretty sure Hoku's name was Hokuala Kari Johnson, and there's no Binvinda in there." And he goes, "Huh, really?" So he gets on his phone and he starts Googling Binvinda, and turns out it means welcome, which I'm sure we've all heard on some international airplane ride somewhere, when they say hello and welcome in all the different languages. And we all got a pretty good kick and laugh out of that one. Hoku had him snowed for decades, thinking that her middle Portuguese name was Binvinda. And that's so Hoku, so classic. And I know that she's somewhere cracking up and so proud of herself that she actually pulled that off. So Toots, I miss you more than you know. Enjoy those beers with all of those folks that are in Pole with you, my grandma, my grandpa, Kala, just to name a few. And I'll see you there when we get there.
Hoku, as a young teenager, I met her at the age of 15 to 16 years old. Hoku caught my eye as a young girl because she was soft, loving, caring. I also officiated canoe races. And I was always on my boat, and I'd always focus in on her boat, going back to her boat, and, "Okay, Hoku, let's go, pal. All right, let's go. There it is. This way, this way, this way." And that's how the canoe paddlers work together. That's how we feel about each other. To have somebody like Hoku, who loved the water, loved canoeing, loved sports, whatever kind of, really not only canoe, but other sports too, to pass on like this. But she's in a better world. And one day we'll all meet and be together again. And when we meet, she'll be up there waiting for me. So I take my hat off to her. I always loved her, and I will love her always.
I hope this old train breaks down, then I could take a walk around, see what there is to see. Time is just a melody with all the people in the street walking fast as the feet can take them. I just roll through town, and though my window's got a view, well, the frame I'm looking through seems to have no concern for now. So for now, I need this old train to break down. Oh, please just let me please break down. This engine screams out loud, centipede gonna crawl westbound. So I don't even make a sound, 'cause it's gonna sting me when I leave this town. And all the people in the street that I'll never get to meet, these tracks don't bend somehow. And I got no time that I got to get to where I don't need to be. So I need this old train to break. Let me please break down. I need this old train to break down. Oh, please just let me please break down. I wanna break on down, but I can't stop now. Let me break on down. Stop nothing if you got no control of the thoughts in your mind that you kept in. You don't know nothing, but you don't need to know. The wisdom's in the trees, not the glass windows. You can't stop wishing if you don't let go. The things that you find and you lose, and you keep on rolling, put the moment on hold. The frame's too bright, so put the blinds down low. I need this old train you know. You make a first impression, but I've found I'm scared to know I'm always on your mind. Even the best fall down sometime. Even the stars refuse to shine. Out of the back you fall in time. Somehow find you and I collide. Don't stop here. I lost my place. I'm close behind.
You sing bug? Bug? Sing bug? Oh! Where's your mother, bug? Say hi, mom. Say hi, mom. Say hi, mom. The bug. The big.
Okay, so I'm taking Hoku's advice. Always have prepared piece of paper. So good morning. My name is Nori Shoji. I was Hoku's boss at NOAA. I've struggled these last few days with how best to talk about her today. Have not experienced knowing Hawaii without her until now. How to capture, especially these past 5 years, because it was so much more than just work. I feel so privileged and fortunate to have witnessed her grow, mature, and become an expert in her field, respected by all who were lucky enough to cross paths with her. No matter what, her support and honesty have been unwavering, but also how we could drive each other crazy. But at the end of the day, or the start of the next day, we'd be talking story. How she knew how uncomfortable it made me when she called me boss, and how I tolerated it because she meant it as a term of endearment, or how despite how much she hated being singled out for thanks, I continually looked for ways to sneak attack her with it. How uniquely crazy a team Hoku, Kyle, Chad, and I made, creating a new division, hard-headed, tough-loving, and too honest at times, but loyal beyond measure. How she was constantly striving to make us better colleagues and people, no matter the rounds we would go through, and we went through plenty. How she pushed us through the turbulence, whether we wanted it or not, because we all know she could give as good as she got, but how she was also the glue that held us together. So there's so many memories and how to choose. So since I'm sort of representing NOAA, I figured I'd go a little bit more professional. So I settled on this one. I think it captures the many facets of the Hoku I cherish. So in the latter part of 2019, when she'd come back from maternity leave, we had a mandatory training, Strength Finders. And as was typical, the survey report led to a deep conversation comparing our results. She was not surprised by mine, I was not surprised by hers, but she was very animated about how she didn't agree with her top 5, which surprised me because I thought they were spot on. Achiever, has a great deal of stamina and works hard, takes great satisfaction from being busy and productive. Harmony, looks for consensus, doesn't enjoy conflict, rather seeks areas of agreement. learner, great desire to learn, wants to continuously improve. It's the process of learning, not the outcome that excites. Relator, finds deep satisfaction in working hard with friends to achieve a goal. Activator, can make things happen by turning thoughts into action, though often impatient. It was one of those great conversations where we dove deep into dissecting meaning and intent, the issues around labeling people as this or that, examples from our lives highlighting impacts. And it could have gone on and on if not for the need to retrieve the girls and get home to Leisha, which we did frequently, and Leisha would text, "Where are you?" So there isn't a day that goes by without me thinking about her, or a week that I don't talk about her. She was my beacon in stormy weather, mentor and confidant to many in Noah, brought so much laughter and joy to our Noah ohana. There are many ideas in motion on how to honor her, too many to share right now, but I'll share one. It's something Hoku, the team, and I have been scheming on about for years, and it's nearly a reality. In 2022, we will kick off the Hokuala Kikahakai, Rising Star on the Ocean Internship Program. Like the star it is named for, it will create a pathway to seagoing opportunities for local young people. And like the person it honors, it will be the foundation for developing the next generation of stewards of our oceans, enhancing people's lives and continuing the NOAA mission. Thank you. We miss you so much, Hoku.
Oh, that smile. Oh, how I will miss that smile, that joy, that quick wit that really brightened a room. I will also miss that hard driving, committed, talented, just incredibly capable and smart person who I worked side by side with for so long. When I left Papahanaumokuakea, I really hoped to leave Papahanaumokuakea and the leadership of that site to her because I knew she would carry on all the values, all of the legacy that so many had built, that we really worked so hard to create. Hoku's truly one of a kind. The world is less because she's not in it. And even though she leaves this gaping hole for all of us, you know, she also has left an example, an incredible example of how when you really put your mind to it, you can do anything that you want to do, and how incredibly able and capable we as Kanaka are. Hoku, I miss you, and I will always miss you, but you will always be with me and all of us who knew you.
Hoku left a lasting impression on many of us who worked with her, and very naturally transitioned those work relationships into friendships. She impacted so many within that professional space, and being a beautiful connector and conduit between people, different interest groups, agencies, there were really no boundaries to the spaces Hoku could dance in and out of. She also could lighten a room with her laughter, her ease of conversation, and that specialness about her that put people at ease. I loved her silliness, especially in those very professional and formal spaces, knowing it was necessary to balance the weight and responsibility of the work we do on behalf of our Hawaii. Though her contributions were many in the successes of Papahanaumokuakea and the business of agency, research, and management, it was those gifts of kindness, laughter, silliness that set her apart, and she's fondly and lovingly remembered for.
Hanui loa to my friends in Hawaii. I am honored and grateful for the opportunity to be able to talk about our friend Hoku, our own personal glowworm. She could warm up an icebox, and that's exactly what she did many times between Fish and Wildlife Service and NOAA. I remember one time going into the not so warm and fuzzy federal building, and she had her feet up on Matt Brown's desk. The bridge. Hoku and I always said we wanted to share some Jack Daniels together. We wanted to share some Jack Daniels together on Midway. We were there many times together, and we never got around to it. Well, Now we're getting around to it. Except I'm going to share it with each one of you guys. And here's to our friend Hoku, our own personal glowworm, who reminds us that no matter how dark it might seem in our lives, there's always a space in us that can bring warmth and glow and kindness into the room, into ourselves, into our relationships. I love you guys.
Hoku's kindness and laughter, and as Annabelle puts it, our own personal glowworm, was what you were greeted by. But then as you dug deeper and peeled back the layers of what that laughter and silliness masked, you found this hard-working, dedicated, intelligent woman. Dr. Misaki Takabayashi, a professor, fellow researcher, and friend, says it best as I quote her. Hokuala certainly was a force of nature with so much potential. She also made significant footprints for people whom she inspired to follow in natural resource management. I love that she was unapologetically career-minded, but somehow balanced her own integrity and success in the federal agencies. She was incredibly generous, but super quiet about it, and I've witnessed her generosity in so many ways with her time and friendship. It's not often that we come across people with such a big heart. I didn't know Hoku as intimately as many others did within the agency daily grind, but was very fortunate to work with her in small ways within the many spaces we both shared through NOAA, the Hawaiian Cultural Working Group, the Reserve Advisory Council, our intertidal research project and expeditions, community engagement and outreach, and of course the family of friends that developed because of those shared spaces. Hoku always blew me away and amazed me in her unapologetic professionalism, as Misaki put it, and the way she balanced holding and honoring this very clear line of the importance and seriousness of the work she contributed to. And even though she brought this lightness and laughter, you quickly recognize the unsaid message of, don't mistake my silliness for ignorance or stupidity. She was very serious and dedicated to the work she did. She believed in it, understood and lived it. That integrity and the values she held most definitely influenced others in strengthening or joining that mindset to support and advocate for our Hawaii.
Yeah, and what I'm going to remember most about Hoku is how she defended not only Papahanaumokuakea as a sacred space, but she did so through her values. And those were values that match up with the values that are emergent from that space. You know, she truly understood that realm and how to protect it. And she did it every day in an amazing way.
Outside of the daily workings of management and agency business, Hoku helped build capacity within our communities as well as within the agencies to expand knowledge, research, relationships, and the broader community that cared for and about Papahanaumokuakea. She advocated for community-inclusive projects, helping to build into the system the needed and irreplaceable contributions of community participation and perspective. She was integral in establishing support for our decade-long intertidal partnership, which focused on the Opihi fishery and our hopeful vision of sustainable, healthy intertidal that will continue to feed our people for generations. Hoku was far-reaching, within agencies, and across our pipe.
You know, she was involved in a lot of different projects within the monument. I think most notably the Opihi monitoring project. I know she was very influential in things we learned in Papahanaumokuakea, how they can be applied to our main Hawaiian Islands and how we can compare and contrast these things. I think along with the other people that I think we will miss the most is her intelligence and her wit, her smile, and her laughter, or her ability to make the rest of us laugh as well.
The legacy Hoku helped build and grow would not be what it is today without her support, vision, contributions, love, kindness, hard work, and dedication. And though I am only able to share a very small piece of her professional life, it encapsulates the essence of not only the meaningful work Hoku did, but the impact and impressions she leaves behind. She is both recognized and honored by our U.S. Senator Brian Schatz, Governor David Ige, Lieutenant Governor Josh Green, and the many who worked beside her, and called her friend.
Hokuala, you live in every memory I have of Papahānau Mokuākea. Your leadership and courage to be yourself made you the best to take the lead, lighting up the room with laughter and getting things done. You never put any scientist or person on a pedestal, and I truly admired you for that. You might not have known it, but your deep aloha for Papahānau Mokuākea helped me grow my pilina through embracing the amazing moments revealed by our Kupuna Islands and our Pai'aina. You encouraged me to dive in and always charge. It's one of my greatest honors to share these fond memories with you as we scaled the shoreline on each island and had each other's backs every time. Hokuala, your humor and charm are one of a kind. Mahalo piha for showing us the depth of heart and passion you had. As we learn to live with the grief of your loss, I think of you joining the ranks of our hulu kupuna. I will always see you in the first elele messenger manukai who greet us as we approach land or while on the shore. You're the mama school of Nenue clinging against the sea cliffs of Nihoa. You're our laughter and smiles resonating among the rocks. You're the waves that keep us humble and make us maka'ala. You're the cool ehukai carried on the breeze, embracing us throughout the day. You live in the pilina we grow to each kapakai we're fortunate to know. There is always a pair of tubbies for you, T, our forever ocean lady love. Ke aloha nui a oi a me ko ohana a mauloa aku.
Ahui hoe Hokuala. Each and every time we look up at the night sky, we will smile at the sound of your laughter.
Mahalo nui for your friendship and for sharing your beautiful soul with us. We will forever carry the best of you and promise to always seek out and give the deepest aloha to anyone who carries pain and sadness in their hearts.
We will miss you so much, sister, but we will always remember you. Me ke aloha pau ole.
Pat.
Ke hau. Kamehana Kala and Na'ilima Springer.
Mo'imo Hokuala, ha'o ha'o wao yaoi, iluna e o ke au, hoku kai mana I ka lani, imo Hokuala, ha'o ha'o wao yaoi.
E ku'u wahi ho'opili I ka ehukai, he kua na'u I ka awana I ka hiki e. E ku'u wahi ho'opili ki ala hula o Hawaiʻi loa, ua nalo wale iho nei. Awe ke aloha e.
Ua ha'alele ia me ka waialoha. Ke ku nei ke aloha me ka mana'o. Mana'o au I kau ma ka unauna, a I ka lei pua mai ole. Awe ke aloha e. Aia la oi ke alo o nā pali. Ka pali ai alo o Nihoa. Aia la oi I makalai o mi noi noi o. Na iau I ka hali aloha e ka wahine holo moana. Awe ke aloha e. Awe ke aloha e.
O ngā whetū, waikari po, waika puri te rau, aru he, oe, pupuhi miri, miri.
Aloha mai kako. My name is Leisha Lynn Ha'avina Lanisa Bosa. I was Hoku's wife. Hoku and I spent almost 10 years building a life together with 2 successful careers, a house, a dog, wonderful friends and family. We were living our dream. Together we had such strong ambitions for life. One day we decided to grow our family and later had Kauia Hiva, Ohia, Agona Johnson, and Kai Olohia Elizabeth Mana Johnson. We filled their names with the names of strong women from their past, women with traits that were important to us. We wanted Hiva and Kai to know that they are part of a long story, with their journey unwritten and future bright, because of the network of people watching over them. It is for this and many smaller things that I am eternally grateful. Hoku, do you remember? I used to call you my honey bunches of oat cake. You had a way with words. A brilliant writer with a sharp mind for policy and a way of explaining touchy subjects to people of all backgrounds so that it would lead to a better understanding for all. But it was really your introverted and explosive at times sense of humor and witty attitude that I fell in love with. And your eyes, the way you used to look at me, I'm probably going to miss that the most. We went on so many adventures, hiked Haleakala until my old boots fell apart at the bottom of the crater, and I had to borrow duct tape from random strangers. We sailed around Maui and dove in the waters of beautiful Molokini when the corals were still a fluorescent rainbow. I took you hiking up to the top of the Ko'olau ridges and showed you some of my plant and snail friends. We trekked across volcanic fields to Makaupuhi crater and beyond, fueled by Waipi'o Poi and nothing else. I guess I impressed you that day with my navigational skills. You impressed me every single day you were alive. I hope you know that. One of my most cherished memories, and I have a lot, is that one perfect day we spent diving in the deep waters of Waimea Bay. It was uncharacteristically calm, not crowded with people, and crystal clear blue to the bottom. I watched as you dove in circles down to the sand to inspect those fishing ko'as we found. And then suddenly we were engulfed in a school of what looked like baby kihikihi. I was really peaceful. You would tell me the names of your fish, limu, and ko'a friends, and I would tell you that they might have some Mauka Forest friends with the same name. We would talk for hours about mo'olelo and places and things of that nature. We were living it. We were, and then one day we weren't. You see, I realize now, stitches can come undone. The pressures of everyday life can fuel old vices until they grow into this seemingly unsurmountable mountain. The darkness can grow, and mental illness can take hold when we least expect it. These are the things that should be talked about more, in the same way we talk about a flu or a virus. Recognizing the symptoms and seeking help should be something celebrated. We are always one step away from a different life. I forgive you, Hoku, for transferring. I forgive Hoku for transferring her pain to us, to me. But I'm grateful that she has found her peace. I thank you, Hoku, for always believing in me and making me believe that I can do anything. I thank you for what we shared in such a short space of time, and the extra meaning you have given to everything around me. I thank you for telling me that you loved me in your final words, be it in the worst possible way. I thank you for all the memories, for teaching me about forgiveness and love. Your legacy of protecting our ocean resources and Native Hawaiian culture, for caring for one another like family, will live on forever. I see your spirit and mannerisms in our girls every single day. Sometimes it is heartbreaking, and sometimes it is joyful. But in the end, I am grateful for it all. I love you forever and always, Hokuala. I never called you that. The world will never be the same without your soft eyes and beautiful smile. With the help of family and friends, I promise to carry your legacy forward with love and step into a new chapter without you.
You were the love for certain of my life. You were simply my beloved wife. I don't know for certain how I'll live my life now alone without my beloved wife. My beloved wife. Oh, I can't believe I've lost the very best of me. Beloved wife.
There goes my hand shaking, and you are the reason my heart keeps bleeding. But I need you now. And if I could turn back the clock, I'd make sure the light defeated the dark. I'd spend every hour of every day keeping you safe, and I'd climb every mountain and swim every ocean just to be with you and fix what I've broken. Oh, 'cause I need you to see that you are the reason. I don't wanna cry no more. Come back, I need you. Are the reason. Closer, just a little closer. Come a little closer. I need you to hold me tonight. I'd climb every mountain and swim every ocean just to be with you and fix what I've broken. 'Cause I need you to see You are the reason. Baby, it's been a long day, baby. Things ain't been going my way, you know I need you here. You clear my mind all the time. And baby, the way you move me, it's crazy. It's like you see right through me and make it easier. You please me, you don't even have to try. Oh, because you are the best thing. You are the best thing. You are the best thing ever happened to me. Baby, come a long way, baby. You know I hope and I pray that you believe me when I say this love will never fade away. Oh, because you are the best thing. You are the best thing. You are the best thing ever happened to me.
A fox with flowers. You like the fox? Yeah, with the flowers? Uh-huh. G, a giraffe with glasses. What do you mean, uh-oh? H, a hedgehog with a hat.
Aloha. My name is Emily Fielding. I'm a longtime friend of Hoku's. We paddled, sailed, and worked together as part of the Hui Nalu family and Noah family. I'm going to read a poem Hoku wrote after a one-man race from Molokai to Oʻahu across the Kaiwi Channel. I'm in the middle of the Kaiwi, paddling on my one-man, veins filled with Gatorade, coated in sunscreen, adrenaline pumping, trying not to be tempted by the bigger swells that will slam me if I give in. The wind is screaming. You can barely see my escort boat, but it's reassuring to hear their voices asking me questions. Do you know your name? Hoku. Making sure I'm not dehydrated. I can hear the static of the radio cackling to the boats ahead and behind. The birds are flying right over my head, off the bow of my little graphite canoe. I don't see the brown knotty terns, the white boobies, the Laysan albatross. I see Kalaku Kea, Uncle Pinky, my grandmother, and others. They glide right alongside me, helping me choose the waves to guide my canoe on. They tell me to relax, enjoy the ride. I worry about them. They assure me they're safe. The view is awesome from above. Love you, Hoku.
Let us pray. Our ever-present, loving God, we celebrate you in awesome wonder. When we consider all the worlds thy hands have made, in this paradise of a place we call home, where we can experience the sweet smells of maile, ikake, pakalana, and huakenikeni, where we can hear the ocean's roar or gentle whisper, where we can see amazing night blooming Sirius in soft moonlight, trade winds gently pushing clouds across our azure skies, sunsets blazing bright orange gold with surfers and paddlers silhouetted on the horizon, and a star-filled sky fading into another dawn on our island world. Gather this community of family and friends together as a fine hala mat, beautifully woven with jokes, stories, and memories, with honor, respect, and a love that understands and forgives and is determined in its support of one another. No matter how much we talk about this time as a celebration of life, we ask you to help us deal with the pain and sorrow that comes from the loss of this one who has meant so much to so many. We thank you for all the gifts and blessings Hoku shared with others. We thank you for those special qualities of hers, her positive attitude, her voracious appetite for reading and learning, her profound concern for indigenous people, her way with words, including one of her favorites, brah, her sarcasm, her enthusiasm, her empathy, her sense of humor, her strength, her passion for her work, her charisma and courage. We are grateful for Hoku's intelligence and her joyful, stoked way of being in life. Encourage these qualities to live on in those who loved her and benefited from her friendship, her generosity, and her wisdom. Surround Hoku's family now with your deep, abiding love and help us all, we pray, in the midst of things we find difficult to understand, to believe and trust in you. Grant us grace to entrust Hoku to your never-failing love. Receive her into your mercy, and grant us all the determination to remember to honor Hoku by living lives worthy of her praise. Amen. I've been asked to announce that there will be a private burial at Oʻahu Cemetery following this ceremony, and that tomorrow's scattering on the North Shore is postponed. Information will be emailed to you. As we prepare for our benediction, I ask all of you to take a moment right now to take and feel a deep breath flow into your lungs, and also feel the natural relaxed state that an exhalation brings. Now let us hear the benediction. And what is it to cease breathing but to free the breath from its restless tides, that it may rise and expand and seek God unencumbered? Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountaintop, then shall you begin to climb. And when the earth and ocean shall claim your limbs, then shall you truly dance. Share your stories of life with Hoku. And also please write them down for Hiva and Kai Kai to read someday. Remember that a sorrow shared is half the sorrow, and a joy shared is twice the joy. Speak for Hoku's silence. Continue her legacy. Bless the breath of life and sing of a deep and enduring love. Travel through life with courage and weave a lei of aloha and peace. Life is short. We don't have much time to gladden the hearts of those who walk this way with us, so be swift to love and make haste to be kind. Amen.